Imagine a city of wood and thatch, bustling and crowded. This was London, 1666, a tinderbox waiting for a spark. In the early hours of September 2nd, in a small bakery on Pudding Lane, that spark ignited. A simple mistake, a baker's oven not fully extinguished, would unleash a firestorm that would change the course of history. This is the story of the Great Fire of London, a tale not just of destruction but of an extraordinary rebirth. The fire began small, but London was unprepared. The summer had been long and dry, turning the city's timber-framed houses into a massive pile of kindling. The houses were packed so tightly together, their upper floors almost touching across the narrow, winding streets. A strong easterly wind fanned the flames, and soon the fire was a monstrous, roaring beast, leaping from rooftop to rooftop faster than a man could run. In those first hours, confusion reigned. The Lord Mayor, Sir Thomas Bloodworth, was woken from his sleep. When he saw the fire, he famously scoffed, saying, "Pish! A woman might piss it out?" and went back to bed. This disastrous underestimation cost the city precious time. By the time he realized the gravity of the situation, it was too late for simple buckets of water. The standard firefighting methods of the time were utterly overwhelmed. Panic gripped the citizens. The air grew thick with smoke, glowing embers rained down like a hellish snow, and the sound of cracking timber and collapsing buildings filled the air. People fled in terror, grabbing what few possessions they could carry. The River Thames became a chaotic scene, clogged with boats as families desperately tried to escape the inferno. Samuel Pepys, a naval administrator whose diary provides one of the most vivid first-hand accounts of the fire, described the scene as a most horrid, malicious, bloody flame. He watched pigeons, reluctant to leave their homes, circle the burning buildings until their wings caught fire and they fell from the sky. For 4 long days and nights, the fire raged. It consumed everything in its path. It melted the iron gates of the city and even cracked the great stones of St. Paul's Cathedral. The lead roof of the cathedral melted and flowed in a molten river down Ludgate Hill. The fire was so intense it created its own weather system, a firestorm with winds strong enough to suck objects into its blazing heart. People watched in despair as their homes, their businesses, their entire world turned to ash. Over 13,000 houses, 87 parish churches, and countless public buildings were destroyed. The medieval heart of London was gone. Amidst the chaos, there were acts of desperation and glimmers of order. King Charles II and his brother, the Duke of York, took personal command of the firefighting efforts. They rode through the streets, organizing demolition teams. The only effective way to stop the fire was to create fire breaks, wide gaps in the city that the flames could uncross. Using gunpowder, they began blowing up houses in the fire's path. It was a destructive but necessary act. Finally, on Wednesday, September 5th, the winds died down and the fire breaks held. The Great Fire of London was finally brought under control. When the smoke cleared, the scale of the devastation was breathtaking. 4/5 of the city within the old Roman walls was a smoldering ruin. An estimated 100,000 people were left homeless, camping in fields outside the city walls in makeshift tents and shelters. Miraculously, the official death toll was incredibly low, recorded as only 6 people. However, modern historians believe the true number was likely much higher, as the intense heat would have cremated many victims, leaving no trace, and the deaths of the poor and unknown often went unrecorded. In the immediate aftermath, fear and suspicion ran rampant. With England at war with the Dutch and the French, people quickly blamed foreigners. Mobs attacked anyone who looked or sounded foreign. A simple-minded French watchmaker named Robert Hubert confessed to starting the fire, even though he wasn't even in the country when it began. Despite clear evidence of his innocence, he was convicted and hanged. He became a convenient scapegoat for a city desperate for someone to blame. But from the ashes of this immense tragedy, an incredible opportunity arose. This was a chance to rebuild London, not as it was, but as it could be. King Charles II was eager to create a new, modern capital. Visionaries like Sir Christopher Wren, an astronomer and architect, saw a blank canvas. Wren proposed a radical new plan for London, with wide, straight avenues, grand public squares, and a rational, elegant grid layout reminiscent of Paris. It was a beautiful, ambitious vision for a European-style metropolis. However, Wren's grand plan faced a major obstacle: property rights. London was a complex web of privately owned plots of land. Reorganizing these thousands of individual plots into a new grid system was a legal and logistical nightmare. People wanted to rebuild on the land they owned, and they wanted to do it quickly. The need to get the city's economy moving again was paramount, so the radical redesign was largely abandoned. London's medieval street plan, with its winding lanes and alleyways, was largely preserved, but that doesn't mean nothing changed. Far from it. The rebuilding of London was guided by a new set of strict building regulations. The Rebuilding Act of 1667 was a landmark piece of legislation. It mandated that all new buildings had to be constructed from brick and stone, not wood and thatch. Streets were required to be wider. These new rules were designed to do one thing above all else: prevent another great fire. This was the birth of modern urban planning and fire safety codes. Sir Christopher Wren, though his grand city plan was rejected, was given the monumental task of rebuilding the city's churches. He designed and oversaw the construction of 51 new parish churches, each a masterpiece of Baroque architecture. And his crowning achievement was the new St. Paul's Cathedral. Rising from the ruins of the old Gothic cathedral, Wren's design with its magnificent dome became, and remains, an iconic symbol of London's resilience and rebirth. It was a testament to the city's enduring spirit, a beacon of hope on the skyline. The fire also had unintended positive consequences. The flames had sterilized the ground and wiped out the rats and fleas that carried the bubonic plague. The Great Plague of 1665, which had killed a sixth of London's population, did not return with the same ferocity after the fire. The wider streets and better sanitation of the newly built city contributed to a healthier urban environment. The Great Fire of London was a profound catastrophe, a moment of unimaginable loss and suffering, but it was also a turning point. It forced a city to look at itself, to learn from its mistakes, and to build a better, safer future. It accelerated the development of the insurance industry, led to the creation of the first municipal fire brigades, and laid the foundations for the modern city we know today. The story of the fire is a powerful reminder that even from the most complete destruction, new life can emerge. It shows us that tragedy can be a catalyst for innovation, and that human resilience, in the face of overwhelming disaster, is a remarkable force. London did not just recover. It was reborn, stronger, safer, and more magnificent than before. Thank you for joining us on this journey back to 1666. If you found this story of destruction and rebirth fascinating, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into the pivotal moments that have shaped our world. We'll see you in the next one.